good? All right. Happy Monday morning to you. Oh, this is so great. So I am finally mastering this tool. Got music blazing, and it was really stressful because with Restream there was this thing and how I've got it set up so I can have my applause track, which for some reason seems to be really super necessary. Otherwise, I feel like there's just something missing. Got to have the music track, which you can hear as soon as I stop talking. That comes in. It's on a side chain with my vocal track, so everything is great. I don't have to mute anything until I go towards the screen share, which, what happened to my screen share? Okay, it's right there. Did I set it up before the show? Looks like I didn't set it up, but that's okay. I'm just feeling so good. We're gonna get another hand clap because yeah, there's my screen share. Okay, so we're going to be checking out my man Alex Hormozi, and he's got sort of a very direct take on a lot of classical sort of business subjects. And this one I like because we all go through this, you know. It feels to us like we're overselling ourselves sometimes because we're saying the same thing. But if you look at, especially guys like Dan Pena, let's give it up for Dan Pena. All right, Danny, boy. You hear him tell the same story. Same with Anthony Robbins. They just tell the same story over and over and over again. But for some reason, us as solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, we get shy and we're like, you know, we don't want to just keep saying the same thing. But the truth is, nobody knows we exist, man. Nobody knows you exist. So it's okay. Keep saying the same thing. Advertise more, advertise more, advertise more. And we're going to have Alex here sort of break it down the way he knows how to break it down. So let's give a round of applause for Alex. All right, now mute the mic and let him take it away.
Number 2, no one knows you exist. Advertise more. And so to give you context on this, when I walk through the streets, I usually get stopped 4 or 5 times on like a 60-minute walk. And when I was launching my book last year, I had 500,000 plus people who were registered. It was this massive event, broke the internet, whatever. But during the month leading up to it, we're advertising on all channels. We're running ads. We've got affiliates that are pumping it. I'm making content all over the place. And over the 4 weeks of people that stopped me, only one person knew that I had a book coming out. And so every time I'd see somebody like, hey, you're gonna be at the book launch? And they're like, oh, you have a book? And I was like, how can you not know that I have a book? There's a story from Henry Ford that I love, which is that he was walking by, the CMO of Ford was right next to his office. And every day he'd walk by and he'd see the marketing campaign. He'd see the marketing campaign day after day after day. And so 3 months into seeing the same campaign, he knocked on a CMO's door. He's like, hey, when are we gonna stop running this thing? He's like, I'm getting exhausted of seeing it. And the guy just looked at me, he's like, we haven't started running it yet. And so the thing is that we get so sick of our advertising so much before our customers or potential customers even remember our names. And so the extent of advertising that you have to do, there are so many people in the world and people's attention is so spread thin and so they're so distracted that in the off chance you actually do get an advertisement of some sort in front of them, the likelihood that they remember that it was even you and the core message of that advertising is even lower. And so many of us have this big fear that we're harassing our audience by repeating ourselves over and over and over again. But the vast majority of the time, no one even A, knows you exist, or B, specifically knows the message that you're trying to let them know. And so I like to tell my team and remind myself that we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. And so your audience needs to be reminded more than they need to be taught. And I don't know about you, but I follow plenty of accounts where like they have the same 4 or 5 messages, more or less, that they put out there. And the reason I follow them is because I like the reminder. I like to be reminded to be patient. I like to be reminded to not take things too seriously. I like to be reminded that I have to think long. Like those are the things that I like to be reminded of. And so imagine if that account's like, I already said be patient once, I don't want to say it again. They've already heard that from me. It's like, no, people have messages that they want to continue to get fed into. And every time you feed that same message that they liked before back into them, they'll have another positive experience with you. The amount of novelty that's required in content is significantly less than you think as a creator. Think about it like you're going after a girl and she's with somebody right now. All right, so you're like, okay, well, I'm going to ease off, but I'm just going to let them know. I'm just going to throw these little flares out there that I'm interested. I'm here. I'm not being disrespectful, but I'm available, right? And then what happens is as soon as she gets out of that relationship or whatever, then she's receptive to your message. And so the thing is, the same way it works with customers, is that they might not be looking for a marketing solution. They might not be looking for a plumbing solution. They might not be looking for an IT services provider for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. But they might like to hear your stuff. But the moment they are in the market, you're the first one they think of because you continued to repeat the messages that resonated with them to begin with. The big thing is the 4x4, all right? Which is, especially when you're starting out, 4 hours a day doing the core 4. And so the core 4 means you're reaching out to people you know one-on-one, reaching out to strangers one-on-one, making content one-to-many, or running ads one-to-many. And so those are the 4 ways, the only things one person can do to let other people know about their stuff. And so I use the rule of 100 as my guide there, which means you either make 100 minutes of content, you do 100 outreaches, so either cold or warm, or if you want to get really spicy, or at least $100 a day of advertising. Now, obviously the $100 a day you can scale as much as you want, but as a baseline for anybody who's starting a business, those are 3 ways that you can just say, okay, what do I have to do to let more people know about my stuff? If you're not making 100 minutes of content, you're not doing 100 outreaches a day, or you're not spending $100 a day in ads, no one's gonna know you exist. And that is the biggest threat to your business. The reason it's so important as a founder to do this in the business is that you have to be able to make it rain. And so every business at the most basic level has to advertise before it can have money, right? So like if you wanna make money, people cannot give you money until they know you exist. And so it is a prerequisite for making money in business is that you advertise first and then you have a product that you can deliver on, and that's the most basic form that you have to have. If you just have the product and no one finds out, you will continue to not make money. Which leads me to number 3. Until you're at 100.
All right, I think that deserves. I almost want to go so many great points that he's touched about right there, and I think I'm gonna go over, if I can find it real quick, we'll go over just what he said here, if I can grab it. Can I do it? I can't grab it. Anyways, I just wanted to get at the core 4. It was so good. I think we're gonna just I put it back a little bit, but like he said, the 4 core, you got to spend 4 hours a day, either reaching out one-to-one or one-to-many. You're making in the rule of 100. So you're making 100 cold calls, or you're making 100. You're reaching out to 100 people that you do know. You're making 100 minutes of video content. Let's see if we could find it again. All right, it's just so, and this is great here too. So we'll just listen to him again. It just such great nuggets here in this little speech that we'll. Okay, here we go.
Making money in business is that you advertise first and then you have a product that you can deliver on, and that's the most basic form that you have to have. If you just have the product and no one finds out, you will continue to not make money. Which leads me to number 3. Until you're at $100,000 a month, you do 100 outreaches, so either cold or warm, or doing the core 4. And so
there it is. I got it. Okay, this is what I want to talk about. Let's give it up for live TV. The core 4. All right. So People you know, people you don't. One-to-one, warm outreach, cold outreach, people you know, people you don't. One-to-many, post free content, run paid ads. So he's talking about 100 minutes a day or 100 minutes a day in content. You're creating 100 minutes a day in those 4 hours of content, or you're running paid ads. Great thumbnail sketch to think about. Let's let him run through this, and that'll be it for today. All right.
The core four means you're reaching out to people you know one-on-one, reaching out to strangers one-on-one, making content one-to-many, or running ads one-to-many. And so those are the four ways, the only things one person can do to let other people know about their stuff. And so I use the rule of 100 as my guide there, which means you either make 100 minutes of content, you do 100 outreaches, so either cold or warm, and if you want to get really spicy, or at least $100 a day of advertising. Now, obviously the $100 a day you can scale as much as you want, but as a baseline for anybody who's starting a business, those are three ways that you can just say, okay, what do I have to do to let more people know about my stuff? If you're not making 100 minutes of content, you're not doing 100 outreaches a day, or you're not spending $100 a day in ads, no one's going to know you exist. And that is the biggest threat to your business.
Bravo. If you're not doing the core four every day, if you're not devoting 4 hours a day to the core four, nobody is going to know you exist. Great way to break it down for everybody that's out there thinking about what can I do to bring myself towards the end of the year and then rocket off into 2025. What can I do? What you can do is start thinking about the core four. 100 outreaches cold, 100 outreaches warm. You're doing 100 minutes of free content, or you're doing $100 in paid ads. So that's what I'm sort of creating. These podcasts are part of my core four campaign, and it is taking many hundreds of minutes to get to this point where I can go from Alex to me to a close-up, to have my name down there, and I can even reach out with an email. So if you're looking to email me, there you go, info@liamkalikas.com. You can email me there. All of these things took me a long time to set up because I'm integrating royalty-free music that you can hear. I've got an intro and an outro, and I have taken this video of Alex's and I've created thumbnails for each video. And so behind the scenes of this broadcast are hundreds and hundreds of minutes of prep. So if you're looking to do something that looks like what I'm doing, something that's professional, using Restream, using royalty-free music, having it so when you speak, the music goes down. So listen, I'm going to stop talking. All right, this is royalty-free music. If you're looking to handle something like this, by all means contact me. I'm the founder of Engage Pro, and I use this type of format to pitch to investors. And the great thing about this format is you can go from one thing to another instantly, and you don't have to embarrass yourself and be like, how do I share the screen? Excuse me, how do I share the screen? Which then, of course, deserves a laugh track. of monumental proportions. So if you care about your business and you don't want to look unprofessional and you want to have the elements of broadcast TV that have been around for like almost 100 years, an intro, an outro, music, moving from scene to scene with ease. If you want that type of professional, that professional sheen, that professional ambiance to your broadcasts, just give me a shout out, man. Let's hook up. I've done all the hard work. It was sort of difficult getting here, but now that I'm here, everything is beautiful. So, thank you so much. I'm going to review this to make sure, because it's a little bit tricky when you're bringing in other audio in this configuration, but I think I got it down. All right. So, do I have an outro here? I didn't get my outro. That's okay. It gives us just a few more seconds to shout out here together. And we're going to put my outro, and the outro has, as you can see here, has no music to it, right? So I bring the outro in when I'm ready, but I have the music off right to my right here, and then when I'm ready to get to the point where I'm saying thank you very much, there's my email. Contact me as soon as you like, and I'll see you next week, right? Then I go to the outro and I pump up the music, and that's it. All right, so let's see if the outro's there. Is it there? What did it? Oh, I put it in the wrong space. Okay, the outro's here. See? Tightening everything up, so when you contact me, I'll have it perfect. Thanks again for watching. Take care. Here's the outro. Au revoir.